man is back.
Oh, my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. Back at it with another Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay. So, we are now looking forward to the year 2020, despite everything going on throughout the world. But yeah, we're going to keep it within the topic, and we're going to look at the movies that are coming out this year. And I got to be honest with you guys. I'm looking at the movies that are coming out this year. This may be the least lackluster list of movies I have seen in a long time. Looking back, I want to say 2017, 2018 had a huge list of potentials and really great lineups of movies. 2019, it went backwards a little bit. This year, it kind of went backwards a bit more. It's more than a little bit, but not that much, because there's a lot of mystery this year. There's some mystery this year. So let's not waste any time and let's get on with number 10, Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, so obviously we all knew this was coming. So after the first two Godzilla movies, now keep in mind there was not a King Kong movie, like a new one anyway. So that's kind of interesting. You know, they should have done a King Kong movie to set this movie up, but whatever. So this joint is coming out November 20th, 2020 in the United States. I'm assuming that would be worldwide as well. I have no clue. So this is going to be the sequel. Oh, actually, I take that back. They did do a recent Kong movie. It was Kong Skull Island back in 2017. I did not see that movie, so I don't know how it was or anything like that. But obviously, they came out with two Godzilla movies. They came out with the second one last year. And they came out with the Kong Skull Island movie last year. So this would be the fourth film in the Legendary's Monsterverse. So there's a Monsterverse? Wow. Let me look this up real quick. I knew there was a Marvel Cinematic Universe and a DC Cinematic Universe. But a Monsterverse? That's new. Alright, so let's take a look at it. So okay, so there have been 3 movies up to this point. So there's been Godzilla, which came out 2014. Kong Skull Island, which came out 2017. So yeah, so they did it right, actually. And then Godzilla, King of the Monsters in 2019, which was last year. I did see that movie. Now we're going to get Godzilla versus Kong. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. Now, let's look at the premise real quick. In a time when monsters walk the earth, humanity's fight for its future sets Godzilla and Kong on a collision course that will see the two most powerful forces of nature on the planet collide in a spectacular battle for the ages. As Monarch embarks on a perilous mission into uncharted terrain and unearths clues to the Titan's origin, a human conspiracy threatens to wipe the creatures, both good and bad, from the face of the earth forever. So this joint will be by Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers as well. This is going to be sick. I can't wait for this one. So I haven't seen the Kong movie, but I mean it's King Kong, so we know what to expect here. But yeah, you know, I want to see how this is going to go down. Who's going to win? Is there going to be an antagonist here? What will happen in this movie? Again, there's a lot of mystery here. So but yeah, it's number 10 on this list because I mean, it could potentially be cheesy, although I'm not saying the last Godzilla movie was cheesy. I would probably, but again, the first Godzilla movie was better than the second one, and I have not seen Kong Skull Island, so I don't know what that was like or anything like that. But let's move on to number 9, Mobius. This one came out of nowhere. I will admit to you guys, this one came out of nowhere. As I was looking up the movies that are coming out this year, I saw this, and I was like, what? And then they released a trailer for this, and I saw it, and again, I was like, what? So yeah, this joint comes out July 31st this year. I can't wait for this. So this is by Sony and by Marvel. Also involved are Columbia Pictures, Rad Productions, and Matt Tom Match Productions as well. This is gonna be crazy. So let's take a look at the premise. One of Marvel's most compelling and conflicted characters come to the big screen as Oscar winner Jared Leto transforms into the enigmatic anti-hero Michael Morpheus. Dangerously ill with a rare blood disorder and determined to save others suffering his same fate, Dr. Morbius attempts a desperate gamble. What at first appeared to be a radical success soon reveals itself to be a remedy potentially worse than the disease. So here's the thing about this, right? If you've seen Spider-Man, the animated series, so really, it's really, for me, Spider-Man, the animated series, and X-Men. I guess they called it X-Men, the animated series. I don't know. But either way, those two shows, especially Spider-Man, introduced me to a lot of Marvel superheroes. So it introduced me to Captain America, Iron Man, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, Black Cat, War Machine, Doctor Strange. But they also introduced me to Blade, the Punisher, and of course some of the villains like Kingpin and Venom, well, Venom, villain to anti-hero, Carnage, and others. But the one character they did introduce me to was Morbius. So Morbius is a vampire. He's like a vampire-human hybrid. So in the Spider-Man show, Peter Parker, in the animated series rather, Peter Parker, the spider, what do you call that joint? Like, I guess the chemical spider that bit him, that gave him the powers of Spider-Man, it was mutating him more. So he became the 6-armed spider. He tried to find a cure for that. And what happened was a new student by the name of Michael Morbius found out about what Parker was working on, and he was studying it. And then what happened was a bat flew in, drank some of that potion or whatever it is that Parker was working on, and afterwards that bat bit Morbius, transforming him into the bat. And Peter Parker found out about everything that happened and was like, yo, it's my fault that this happened. And then it kind of created this love triangle between him, Felicia Hardy, who was the Black Cat, and Michael Morbius. And of course, at the end, Morbius ended up with Felicia, aka the Black Cat, but the Black Cat will often, tongue kiss Spider-Man, because even as Felicia, she always had a thing for Spider-Man. But yeah, so this is going to be interesting. So I'm like, okay. Well, I kind of got an idea how they introduced the Simpsons, because he worked on it himself as opposed to Peter Parker working on it. He stole it, whatever. But my thing is, who's going to be the main antagonist? Obviously, he's going to be fighting against the cop because he's a monster. He's a freak, quote unquote. So my thing is, who's going to be the main antagonist? And where do they go from here? So that's my question. And I can't wait for this movie. I really can't wait for this movie. It's going to be pretty crazy. Now, sticking with the Marvel Universe, I guess we can call it the Marvel Universe. Let's move on to number 8, Venom 2. Oh my gosh. So this joint, first of all, comes out October 2nd, which is ironic since that's like the Halloween month. This is going to be a very crazy movie. Somewhat scary as well, depending on how they present it. So I'm really excited about this movie. Let me explain to you why I am excited about this movie. So first, because when I saw the first Venom movie, it was like, because there was no mention of Spider-Man, and Venom somehow mysteriously got similar powers to Spider-Man. Not the only thing missing was the spider sense. But outside of that, it's like, he can still shoot out some type of weapon. He got superhuman strength. He got superhuman speed. Stuff like that. But so it was like the whole Spider-Man concept was missing. And the movie was like, to me, But this one, I feel is going to be different. Why do I say this? I'm going to give you 3 names, or really 2 names. Now, actually, if you recall how Venom ended, there was a brief cameo by Cassidy. Now, who is Cassidy? He goes by another name of Carnage. Yes. So this one will have Carnage. I cannot wait for this one. Carnage is no freaking joke. Like, without question. Carnage is no joke. Like, without question. The only thing about this movie, you know what would make this movie really better? If Spider-Man was in it. If Spider-Man was in this movie, Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage was together, oh my gosh. This movie would be number 1 on this list. But because of the fact that Spider-Man is not in this movie, which sucks, but it's still, I can't wait to see how they portray Carnage and what happens in this movie. I can't wait for this movie. But again, it's still Venom, you know, based off of the first movie. So it's like, although my hopes are high for this movie, they're not that high. And here's a little interesting note. There's going to be a 3rd Venom film. So hopefully that one will have Spider-Man in it. But who knows? All right, so let's move on to number 7. Sonic the Hedgehog. So this joint comes out, okay, so here's the thing. This joint was supposed to come out in November last year. But as we all know, they basically drew Sonic all messed up like. And everybody, including myself, was like, what the fuck is this? Now, here's the thing. So because of all that, Paramount Pictures, who is a part of this, was like, and along with Sega Sammy Group, Original Film, DJ2 Entertainment, Mozart Animation Planet, and Blood Studios, ironically, was like, but mostly Paramount Pictures was like, you know what? We're going to redesign Sonic, and we're going to push the movie back to Valentine's Day, which is February the 14th, if memory serves me correctly. And once we saw how Sonic looked, well, actually, that's the Friday, so that's not Valentine's Day. But you get the point. But they redrew Sonic, and once we saw it, we was like, yo, that's much better. And now people want to see this movie, myself included. And I guess I'll give you guys the premise. It's not like the video game. So basically, Sonic, a blue animatropic, anthropomorphic hedgehog from another world, Mobius, more than likely, comes to Earth to escape malevolent forces seeking to harness his power of super speed. Oh, I wonder who these forces are. I'm dead serious. I want to know who these forces are. Because they're not talking about Eggman or Dr. Robotnik, whichever one you want to call them. But I'm curious to know what these forces they speak of. But let's move on. After accidentally causing a mass power outage and hiding out in the town of Green Hills, ironically, Sonic is targeted by the government, who then hired the tyrannical roboticist, Dr. Eggman, who is portrayed by the one and only, the legendary Jim Carrey. I just want to put that out there. To hunt him down. Meanwhile, SFPD office. What does that stand for? San Francisco? Yeah, San Francisco Police Department. So, yeah, you know, okay. So, ex-SFPD officer turned Green Hills Sheriff Tom Wachowski, whatever, meets Sonic and decides to help him evade his capture, collect his rings, and stop Robotnik from using Sonic's powers for world domination. So, I'm kind of curious to know, who are these malevolent forces? That's what I want to know. So yeah, this movie gonna be, I think this movie gonna be good, especially since they redrew Sonic and made the movie more realistic based off of Sonic and what we think of Sonic. But what I want to know is, who are these malevolent forces? Even though they won't be like a major focus on this movie because Sonic eventually escapes them, but I still want to know who they are. I want to know who they are, because that is very interesting, if I do say so myself. And it begs the question, we would see a sequel to this, because obviously now we get into this world where we got to talk about Tails, we got to talk about Knuckles, we got to talk about Shadow, and Rouge the Bat, and Amy the Hedgehog, and, oh God, don't bring in Big Cat, please, no, and especially not Froggy. Oh, and they got to bring in Cream and Cheese, and whoever else from that universe. Yo, but they bring in the Freedom, they bring in the Freedom Fighters. Then shit's gonna get real if they bring in the Freedom Fighters. It's gonna get real quick based off of the Saturday morning joint and the comics. Well, the Archie's comic, not the current comic going on right now, but you get the point. It will get real if they bring in the Freedom Fighters further down the road. But then again, that's further down the road. I'm looking too far ahead. But I do want to say this. For those of you who don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog is my all-time favorite video game character, like without question. So obviously you got the video game mascots like Mario and Pikachu and Link and I guess Donkey Kong and Crash Bandicoot. For me, it's always been Sonic the Hedgehog without question. So obviously I'm going to see this movie, and hopefully this is good, especially with Jim Carrey playing as Dr. Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik. I can't wait for this movie. All right, so that was number 7. Let's move on to number 6. The New Mutants. Okay. We're trying this again. This is the third time we're trying this. This joint was supposed to come out in 2018. They pushed it back to 2019. So I said, okay, fine. This joint supposed to come out in 2019. They pushed it back to this year. So here we go again, folks. It made my most anticipated movie list of another year. The New Mutants. So this joint's supposed to come out April 3rd this year. And this is by 20th Century Fox. Obviously, this is Marvel because we're talking mutants. Genre Films. How you pronounce the joint? Genre Films, Sunsweep Entertainment, and TSG Entertainment. So let's look at the premise. 5 young mutants, just discovering their abilities, while held in a secret facility against their will, fight to escape their past sins and save themselves. So looking at the New Mutants, and I'm not sure if this is based off of a comic or anything like that, or any other form of media. Well, obviously there's no anime or animated series based off of this. There might be a comic based off of this. I have no clue. But yeah. Oh, and obviously since this is Marvel, you know Disney's involved. But I'm looking at the characters. So we got Wolfbane, who is one of the mutants. Name sounds familiar, but I'm not 100% sure. Magic with the K. Now, apparently she's the sister of Colossus, which is very interesting. So you would think Colossus would go looking for his sister. So that'd be interesting. And the name Magic sounds familiar as well. I'm not 100% sure from where, but the name do sound familiar. But let's move on. Cannibal. Actually, I think that name sounds familiar as well. I think he's like, in the animated series, he's like this fat, no, I think it's the Blob, I don't know. And then we got, okay, so yeah, this dude, okay, this lady, Cecilia Reyes, is a doctor who is a mentor of the group, so no, we ain't focusing on that. Mirage. Okay. No, that, I saw, like, the name sounds familiar, but once I saw the picture, I'm like, no. It is Sunspot. Now, Sunspot really sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar with him. Now, here's an interesting thing. Now, this is why, and I think I mentioned this last year. Here's why I'm really excited about this movie. So, let's see. Additionally, Antonio Banderas has been cast as an undisclosed villain to appear in a post-credit scene. Really? Oh, it's a post-credit scene? I was hoping he would actually be in the movie. But apparently, this is going to be a post-credit scene instead. So, let's move on. This scene changed during the reshoots. Originally featured John Hamm portraying the villain, Mr. Sinister. So yeah, I know who Mr. Sinister is. He was in the animated series. That dude was, no, for the most part, no joke. So yeah, I am curious to see if Mr. Sinister will be in this movie or will be in the post credit scene, or whatever the case may be. But interested to see. And then I mentioned this 2 years ago. Reminding myself, yo, I did talk about this a while back, but this joint was billed as a American horror film in the superhero genre. Those two things normally don't go together. So I'm really interested to see how that would work out. I'm still interested to see how that would work out. All right, let's move on to number 5. Fast and Furious 9. So yes, the Fast and Furious series continues, and actually we should get a trailer on the 31st of this month. So I'm letting you guys know right now. Now, the Fast and the Furious movie comes out May 22nd, 2020. Here's the interesting fact. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will not be in this movie. Also, Strahan, I forgot his name. Is it George? No, it's not George. Jason Strahan will not be in this movie as well. I'm assuming. Because I did not see his name in the credits anywhere. And if he's going to be in there, you know The Rock had to be in there, but obviously that's not the case. And also John Cena will be in this movie as well. And guess, despite the total meltdown, Tyrese Gibson will be in this movie as well. Oh, here's some interesting fact. Cardi B will be in the movie as well. And Ozuna, if y'all know who that is, will be in this movie as well. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Now, in terms of what this movie is going to be about, I don't see a premise anywhere. So I have no clue what this movie going to be about. So hopefully we could get back to street racing, or something along those lines, something involving racing, because it went from racing to wannabe spy film. So that's why I'm like, yeah, let's get back to the racing. You know, let's get some more racing in here. Now, Here's an interesting fact. So as we all know, oh dang, I forgot his name that quickly. But like the other main star of the series, you know, he died from the car crash. Brian O'Connor, the guy who played Brian O'Connor. So here's the thing. His wife, the lady who plays his wife, is in this movie. Paul Walker. There we go. His wife is in this movie. So I'm like, now obviously she's Dominic Toretto's younger sister, obviously who played by Vin Diesel. But the fact that she's in this movie, so I'm like, what about her husband? And obviously they got 2 kids. So I'm kind of curious to see what role she would play in this movie. And I want to know what this movie is about. So, actually, there's going to be a criminal mastermind and a cyber terrorist. Oh boy, here we go. And this is going to be another film movie. So, yeah, not much in terms of what the movie's going to be about, but we do got the main villain. So the main villain is going to be a Cypher. No, the name Cypher. So, yeah, there you go with that. With that said, let's move on to number 4. The King's Man. All right, so you got to listen how I pronounce it. The King's, apostrophe S, Man. So this is like a prequel before all those Kingsman's movies. So, yeah. Here's the deal. Let's look at the premise real quick. As a collection of history's worst tyrants and criminal masterminds gather to plot a war to wipe out millions, one man and his protege must race against time to stop them. That's it. This joint comes out September 18, 2020, by the way. So, I don't know who's going to be in this movie in comparison to the previous 2 movies. But basically, again, this is the prequel to the Kingsman's movies. So this is going to be very... And obviously, I became a fan of the Kingsman movies universe, that is. Ever since I saw the first one. To me, it was the best one. The second one was really good, but I like the first one much more. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here and how this will set up the Kingsman franchise and things of that nature. So I can't wait to see what happens here. It's going to be very interesting if I do say so myself. So... yeah, there you go with that. All right, now we're going to get on to what I consider to be the cream of the crop right here. So let's get on with it. Number 3, Wonder Woman, 1984. Well, so 1984 is the best year ever. I just want to put that out there. So this joint comes out June 5th. And another Wonder Woman movie. Now, okay, here's the thing. Of all the latest DC movies, there wouldn't have only been 2 good ones, really, in my opinion. Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Yeah, Aquaman. That was a... yeah, actually, you all should know this. Aquaman was a really good movie, and Wonder Woman was a really good movie. But everything else, like the... what is it? The 2 Superman... was there 2 Superman movies or just 1? I think it was just 1 Superman movie, then there was the Superman Batman movie, and I think there was a Batman movie. 1 or 2 of them, I don't know. But really, it's been about Wonder Woman and Aquaman. They really lead the way for the DC universe. And this joint is by Warner Brothers and DC Films and other productions and companies, things of that nature. So in 1984, Princess Diana, or Diana Prince, interesting with that name, comes into conflict with 2 formidable foes, Maxwell Lord and the Cheetah. Finally, one of her main villains, the Cheetah. Now I have no clue who Maxwell Lord is. I will admit, I have no clue who that is. But I do know who the Cheetah is. I do know who that is. While reunited with her past love, Steve Trevor. So somehow he survives. Remember in the first movie, he dies. But in this case, he survives somehow. I have no clue how, but apparently he does. So that's going to be very interesting in terms of how he survived that. And I can't wait to see how this movie plays out. And it's going to be interesting because obviously the Cheetah has been arguably one of Woman's biggest foes. But it's basically a chick with cheetah powers against Wonder Woman, who is basically the female version of Superman. So it begs the question: how can Cheetah be a match against her? So it's interesting. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they play this one out. And then looking at the other main villain, who is Maxwell Lord. Basically, he's a media businessman and an entrepreneur who is famous for TV infomercials. So I'm like, and again, I have never heard of this guy in any of the DC animated shows and any of the DC past movies or even anything like that. He obviously must have been in the comics, but I don't read comics like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two will be a match for Wonder Woman. So I'm really curious to see how this will go. All right, let's get on to number 2, Bad Boys for Life. So finally, we are getting a third Bad Boys movie. So this joint comes out this month, actually this week, January the 17th, by the way. So Will Smith, Martin Lawrence will return. It's going to be pretty dope, as I do say so myself. Also, that Captain will return as well. I cannot wait for this movie to drop. And okay, what's the name? Gabrielle Union, who plays Martin's sister, and start to go out with Martin's character rather, and go out with Will Smith in the movie rather. She's not listed anywhere in the movie. I just want to put that out there. All right, but let's move on with the premise. The once inseparable duo are Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry. So that's Will Smith's character, and Marcus was Martin's character. Is coming apart. An aging Burnett has become a police inspector, while Lowry, suffering a midlife crisis, is assigned to head up AMMO, a Young Guns, quote unquote, group of millennial cops with whom he has nothing in common with, by the way. Both of them reunite once again when a fierce cartel mob boss, whose brother they defeated years earlier, makes a retaliation effort on Mike, just as both he and Marcus are about to officially retire. So that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait for this movie to drop. Obviously, we're dealing with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, so you know this joint's going to be freaking hilarious. And I can't wait to see how this joint will play out. I mean, the first 2 movies were really funny, especially the second one. Speaking of which, the second one came out in 2003. I just want to put that out there. I don't remember when the first one came out, but the second one came out in 2003. So that's pretty crazy. And now we're going to get the third one after all these years. That's pretty sick, if I do say so. Actually, the first one came out in 1995. Wow. But I think most people remember the second one more so than the first one. Probably because Gabrielle Union was in it. Who knows? I mean, it's a possibility. But, yeah. This is going to be very sick. I can't wait for this joint. So, before we get on with my number 1, I got to give you guys some honorable mentions. Birds of Prey. So, this joint comes out next month, 2017. 2017. I meant to say February the 2nd. So, they're already showing commercial for it. So, it go to star Harry Quinn. And she's going to have her own squad full of females. And it's kind of like, what's that group? Suicide Squad. But it's an all-female version. That's where I take it from it. The Eternals. All right, so this is a Marvel film right here. I am not familiar with the Eternals at all. So, I have not read the comics. They were not mentioned in any Marvel animated shows. If they were, then it's like, oh, they just hear whatever. So, I have no clue about them, but I still want to see that movie. It comes out November 6th. Respect. So, this is a Diana Ross movie. I mean, not Diana Ross, my bad. Aretha Franklin movie. Comes out October 9th. Very interesting, if I do say so myself. So, I don't know if I'm going to see that one, but I may end up seeing it because this is Aretha Franklin we're talking about here. Ghostbusters Afterlife. So, this one comes out July 10th. I did see a trailer for this. This looked legit. Like, this looked really, really legit. And I feel like I don't have to watch the previous Ghostbuster movies, like the all-female ones, which I heard were terrible. And I think there was one more either before the all-female one or afterward, whichever one. So, I feel like I don't have to watch either one of the newer Ghostbuster movies before watching this, which is a good thing, because I didn't want to do that. And then, Black Widow. And I will admit, I did want Black Widow on the list, but after seeing like all these movies like Godzilla vs. Kong, Morbius, and Venom 2, it was like, yeah, I had to take Black Widow off my list. That's my number 1 honorable mention. And it's going to be interesting here because this is obviously the prequel to the likes of the Avengers and all this other stuff, and Black Widow returns to her family, so she's gonna pair up with her sister and her father, and I think that was her brother. I don't know who that was, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens to the family, because we all know what happened to Black Widow. Unfortunately, we all know what happened to her. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. And that joint comes out May the 1st. All right, so with all that said, number 1, Mulan. Yo, so when I gave you guys my top 10 movies of the last decade, I said that the Jungle Book remake movie was the best Disney remake movie at this point in time. And there have been a lot of them, you know. So obviously they did Aladdin, they did The Lion King, quote unquote, you know, in terms of remake or whatever. They did Beauty and the Beast, they did the Jungle Book, and I'm going to say that's it. I'm probably missing one, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. But that's beside the point. Mulan is in the conversation for the best remake movie of all time. It's in the conversation based on how it looks so far. So, and this one comes on March 27th of this year by Walt Disney and Motion Pictures. So, in case you have not heard, or not heard, but in case you haven't seen Mulan, I will give you the premise. I don't know, like everybody should have seen Mulan, but I'll give you the premise anyway. When the Emperor China issues a decree, kind of like what we could potentially go through with the whole World War III scenario, but let's move on. That one man per family must serve in the Imperial Chinese Army to defend the country from Hans Hua Mulan, the eldest daughter of an honorable warrior, steps in to take the place of her ailing father. She is spirited, determined, and quick on her feet. Disguised as a man by the name of Huan Zhan, or Huan Wan, she is tested every step of the way and must harness her innermost strength and embrace her true potential. So, I highly doubt that we're going to get the Guardian, who was played by Eddie Murphy in the animated movie, and the little, what was that? Like, what was the bug? Was that a cockroach? A cricket? I don't know what that was. A firefly? I don't know what that was, but I doubt the Guardian and the bug will make an appearance in the movie. More like, we're going to get the horse, but I don't know about everything else. But we will get the, what was that? The hawk, the eagle, the falcon. I think it was a falcon. I don't know what that was. But I think we're going to get that in the movie as well. Now, I can't wait to see this movie. This movie looks seriously as heck. And it looks dope as heck. And it looks extremely dark as heck. Oh, the cricket. So actually, yeah, I just saw it. The cricket will be in the movie. So apparently, somebody will voice the cricket, which is Cricky. So yeah, that's gonna be in the movie. So again, I don't know about the Guardian. I don't see anything about the Guardian. But that would be, if we get the cricket, you have to think that we should get the Guardian, but I don't know. We may not get the Guardian, who knows? But this is gonna be pretty dope. I can't wait for this movie to drop. Now, obviously, the animated film was really, 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 really dope. Unfortunately, the sequel sucked. I saw the sequel, it was terrible. So hopefully, if they do decide to do a sequel, please don't do it based off the animated film. Please don't. But I can't wait to see this one right here. But you know what? With all these remakes, you know what would be really dope? If all these Disney remakes sets up the release of Kingdom Hearts. Oh my gosh. If all of that leads to that, that would be the greatest movie of all time. I don't care what anybody says. If they come out with a Kingdom Hearts movie based off of this universe with the Jungle, well, even though Jungle Book was never in the Kingdom Hearts, but it could, like with this, yeah, put them in that jungle. Yeah, that would be sick. What else? The Beauty and the Beast was in there. Beast was in there. Lion King was in there. Aladdin was in there. Mulan was in. Dog, that would be sick if they pull that off. And then, you know what? It would not surprise me if they do a Hercules live action film. That would be dope. Cinderella. I think they did Cinderella. No, I could be wrong on that. But I feel like they did do a Cinderella remake. I could be wrong on that. And there's just so many options in terms of live action remakes that they could do. But Mulan will be in the conversation, in my opinion, for the best Disney live action remake of all time. Right now, Jungle Book got the crown, in my opinion. Mulan is up there. I can't wait to see this film. So those are my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. Again, there's a lot of mystery here, but not a lot of blockbuster films in comparison to the previous, 3-4 years or something along those lines. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is boy New J Gatsby, aka New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.